If you're pregnant and you're ready to feel more confident, prepared, and empowered for your birth experience, the summer promotion is happening right now. You can join My Essential Birth for just $197, plus you get 3 incredible bonuses: the Birth Partner Quick Reference Guide, the Belly Mapping Guide, and Empowering Birth Meditation Track. Together, these tools help you prepare your mind, body, and partner for birth, so you can walk into birth feeling calm, informed, and supported. But don't wait, this special offer ends June 16th. Visit myessentialbirth.com/get started, all one word, and get started today.
I feel like pushing feels sort of like a war in your body. Not in a scary way. It's so powerful. The way your body like pushes itself past the limits that you think you have. And on one hand, you want to hold back because it's uncomfortable. But then on the other hand, you just want to get it over with. And your body is pushing whether you like it or not. And it's such a unique experience.
Getting pregnant and giving birth are 2 of the most exciting things you can ever hope to experience in this life. The moment you think you could be pregnant, you're frantically searching for all the best information, which is why you're here today. I'm Stephanie King, and with my many years of experience as a professional childbirth educator, doula, and lover of all things pregnancy, birth, and postpartum, I'm here to make preparing for your birth enjoyable, empowering, and totally easy. Each week, I'll cover different topics, interview professionals, and get into the nitty-gritty birth stories from mamas just like you. And when you're ready for more, you can join me in the My Essential Birth course at myessentialbirth.com, where I take you step by step through exactly how to prepare your mind, body, spirit, and partner for a birth you love. So let's get started. Welcome back. We're here with another birth story from some of our My Essential Birth students. I have with me today Kyla and Gabe. Will you guys take a moment, say hello to everybody, introduce yourselves and your family, and then I'd love to dive in.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm Kyla. This is Gabriel. Thank you for having me back. I got to share our last birth story here. And this one looks very different, so I'm excited to share it. I am a stay-at-home mom, and Gabriel's a real estate agent, so we have lots of flexibility, time for family, which is wonderful. We have 2 little girls. Our oldest daughter, Evangeline, she just turned 2, and our youngest is just about 7 months.
So they're close together.
Yes, they are. It's busy.
That's so fun. Has it been kind of just, how's it been? Tell me.
Well, they're both really good girls. They're pretty easy kids, especially the second. She just goes with the flow. So our transition into a family of 4, I would say, has been pretty smooth.
That's awesome. It's funny. I see all those reels now. I had 3 boys, and they were all 2 years apart. You see those reels of like mom of girls, and they're walking like all dressed nicely, walking through the park, and it pans to the mom with the boys, and they're like jumping off of things and hanging on mom's hair. And I'm like, yeah, a little bit of jealousy with that.
Checks out.
Good. That's awesome. All right. Well, and I love having dads here too. So thank you, Gabe, for joining. This is so fun. And especially because Kyla, you got to tell it the first time. So now we get kind of dad's insight along for both. And it's totally fine. Let's compare and contrast as we go. So I would love to hear like, this is, what was different about this pregnancy or whatever. But with that, let's kind of talk about your pregnancy. How was this pregnancy different or the same? What did you experience? Did you run into any like hiccups? What did that look like?
My pregnancy was pretty smooth. Both have been fairly easy. The typical first trimester, but nothing unmanageable. I had lots of round ligament pain in the beginning that changed to Braxton Hicks closer to the end. But again, nothing unmanageable. I did have a cerclage placed at about 13 weeks this time around, just as a preventative measure, because last time we delivered at 28 weeks. We're wanting to avoid that this time if we could. So that was an interesting experience, just being sort of, I suppose, in limbo, because there's no clear recommendations when you have a cerclage. Like, should you be limiting your exercise and things like that? or can you just go about your day as usual? Different providers will tell you different things. So that was a little bit tricky to navigate, but everything went well. So
Yeah, that's great. For those who are listening, will you explain what a cerclage is and why?
cerclage is basically a stitch in your cervix. It manually holds it closed because last time around, that's what went wrong. There was no preeclampsia or anything like that. I just went into labor early. So my doctor advised that a manual solution would serve us best.
Okay. And did you have any issues with that throughout your pregnancy? Like I know you were saying there were different recommendations, but did you have any issues at all with that once it was placed?
No, it was pretty smooth. We did have several ultrasounds to monitor it because there's a window where if it was to start failing, we could put in another one, but too close to delivery, they don't want to do that. So in that window, we were monitoring it and it always looked great. So it was pretty smooth having it.
Good. How about your providers? Tell me about your providers. Did you have the same provider? Did you choose to do something different?
We had the same midwife. We didn't deliver with our midwife last time, but she did still attend the birth. And so we were able to be under her care again. But we did combined care with an OB that she recommended. So the OB handled everything preterm labor, and our midwife handled everything else.
And in Canada, remind me, were you planning on a home birth? Were you planning on a hospital birth? Where were your appointments? Were they at home or at the hospital? What did that look like?
Well, we live far away. There's home birth is not an option for us. We would love to do that, but the closest midwife is about 2 hours away. So we chose a birth center, the next best thing.
Gabe, did you have anything to add to that? Anything that you noticed throughout her pregnancy? Anything with her providers? I mean, did the decision to do the birth center, were you concerned about that? Were you supportive of that? Like, what was your experience?
I was very excited from the first birth. Well, I'm not a big fan of hospitals.
He was all for the birth center first time too.
Yes, I was for both of them, but it's being able to do it the second time, I was very excited and happy that we were able to get a midwife. And our OB was really good too, just making sure that we had that extra eyes and to make sure everything went smooth this time around. So I was just excited throughout it all.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you for being such a good support and an example for these other dads that are listening right now. This is so cool. Let's talk about how you guys worked together during pregnancy. What were the things that you did together like Gabe, how did you support her? And Kyla, what were those things that you were doing so that you guys were communicating well and preparing for this birth? What did that look like for you guys?
We went through all of our notes from the birth course the first time around. And I feel like with him, I just talked about birth a lot. Just sort of trying to normalize it for him. I gave him a few specific jobs near the end too. He knew all the things that he may have to do, but I just highlighted a few that I wanted him to make sure that
Will you share those with us? Do you remember what they were?
Yeah, I wrote them down.
I love it.
I do not remember.
I guess I didn't drill them into his head enough. They were to make sure that my body, especially my jaw and face, all that was just very relaxed, and that I kept my noises low. Also to offer me water. He's very good at that all the time, so I knew that was a good job for him. And to keep things light. He's got a very optimistic, joking personality, so I wanted to bring that into the birth phase because I know how much of a benefit that can be. And I also wanted him to not tell me the time at all once we were at the birth center. I think a laboring woman has no business to know what time it is.
One of the biggest mistakes pregnant moms make is waiting too long to prepare for birth. That's why for a limited time, you can join My Essential Birth for just $197 and get 3 amazing bonuses designed to help you feel even more prepared. You'll get the Birth Partner Quick Reference Guide so your partner knows exactly how to support you in real time, the Belly Mapping Guide to help you understand your baby's position and encourage optimal positioning before birth, and the Empowering Birth Meditation Track to build confidence and reduce fear before labor begins. If you're ready to feel confident, prepared, and empowered for your best birth, head to myessentialbirth.com/get started, all one word, before this offer ends June 16th.
I agree with you. And you go to hospitals and they have like these big digital bright red clocks sometimes. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're going to drive mom crazy. Every contraction, she opens her eyes. She's like, it's only been 2 more minutes. You can't do that. You got to be in labor land for hours without knowing about anything happening around you. So yeah, I agree. That's awesome. Were there other things that you guys practiced together, like labor rehearsals or meditation? And then Kyla, what were your like daily things that you were doing? And tell me a little bit about what you were eating and your movement, meditation, like mental stuff, all of that.
We went over some affirmations near the end and practiced some counter pressures and those sorts of things. And I did the 3 exercises throughout pregnancy. Something interesting though, doing the squat while I had my cerclage in felt very odd, just sort of tight. Nothing hurt or anything like that. I figured I just needed to stretch more. But the day after I got it out, I was doing it and it felt totally different. So I just thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense. I think when you're in a squatted position, there's naturally just more pressure down there. So it would make sense that you'd feel different, but that's interesting.
Yeah. I also went over affirmations myself quite a lot and did a lot of breath work. I would say I did a lot more breath work this time than I did last time around because I feel like breathing was the main thing that helped me through the first labor.
Oh, I love it. Can you share some of what you did for breath work and any of your favorite affirmations that you used?
I practiced lots of affirmations during pregnancy just so that I could gravitate to whatever seemed to help me most in that labor, which again was very different from the last one. I'll share that later. But as for breath work, I would say just, the belly breathing and trying to get very connected with it, practicing the breathing.
1, 2, 3. And then hold your breath for 8 seconds, or
No
breathe
holding
out
your
for
breath.
8 seconds. Sorry.
Yeah, the breathing in and breathing out for different amounts of time, and just all those variations. As for movement, I did try to take it a little bit easy, but also I have a toddler and we moved and I wanted to stay active. So I didn't push it. I wasn't lifting any boxes, but I didn't hold back on chasing my toddler around and taking her for walks and all that good stuff.
That's awesome. Okay, how about towards the end of pregnancy? And you can include anything like, did you test positive for GBS, or was there anything, did they move a date for ultrasound, anything like that? And whether or not they did, kind of into those last weeks of labor, was there anything that you did for labor prep, anything your midwife suggested or you just felt inspired to do in the way of like movement, red raspberry leaf tea, or evening primrose oil, castor oil, like anything that you did to kind of like prep and get going? And then kind of tell me if you had any vaginal exams, like what were the last couple of weeks like for you?
The last couple of weeks were so exciting because I made it full term. So I was just over the moon. I did do the dates and red raspberry leaf tea, but at the very, very end,
Smart.
Yeah, I didn't have any dates moved or anything like that because my midwife was fairly hands off. They did one of our ultrasounds, our last one that we got, to check on the cerclage. She was measuring on the small side, but we weren't concerned about it and didn't do any sort of follow up to check on it. My midwife wasn't concerned either. So, and she was tiny when she was born, but just healthy, nothing out of the ordinary. I got my cerclage removed just after 37 weeks. And it was an experience. I was told it was just going to be an easy procedure just in her office, but it didn't come out as easily as it usually does.
Didn't come out.
It didn't all come out. There was a piece that was stuck in there.
Wow.
So, yeah, she advised that I go to the OR and they put me under and take it out that way.
Wow.
Yeah. But after waiting in triage for a while, another OB came and checked it out, and she couldn't feel it really anymore. My cervix had dilated enough between the time of getting it out and the time that she checked that it wasn't really accessible anymore. So I was given the options of going for the procedure and hoping that they can get it out. I really didn't want to go for this procedure. And she didn't have very high hopes that they would even be able to get it out there. She said it was about a 50-50 chance. So I didn't love those odds. My next option was to deliver at the hospital instead of the birth center, just in case it was to tear my cervix or anything like that, but still be under the care of my midwife. And this was the option that my OB preferred. I feel like OBs are just, they like to play things cautious.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last option was to just leave it be, hope that it either falls out on its own as I keep dilating, or just that it doesn't cause any issues. And so I called my midwife and discussed everything with her, and she really wasn't concerned about it at all. She said that they have the capabilities to deal with it if an complication arose. And
you called me. And then you gave me the option. And I was done with hospital, so I chose the third option. Yeah.
Okay, there has to be a backstory here. I feel like I should have asked at the beginning, but is there a backstory to why you hate hospitals so much?
Just after the first child, just all the beeping and at the end of the day, it's like the difference between a midwife and, a doctor is I find a midwife cares so much more for all of it. And, doctors have a time and place, don't get me wrong, but they're just there to just deliver, make sure everything's good, and then they kind of just disappear. And
yeah, that's true.
I just don't love, you just don't feel that cared for, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't realize that it was your experience with your first baby that made it so like, yeah, we're not doing that again. That's super interesting. So, yeah.
It is funny though, because we didn't have a bad experience with our first delivery.
Right.
It was just different.
Just different. Yeah. Okay. So take me through how many weeks were you and when did contractions start and what did your birth look like?
Okay, well, I woke up one morning I was 39 and 3, and my belly looked completely different. So I kind of thought that something might be happening. She had been sitting really low before this. My last appointment with my midwife, she was giggling because she had to look so low for the heartbeats. She said that typically that's where you find the heartbeat in labor. So she sent me home from that appointment with a birth kit just in case she came in the vehicle on our drive. But yes, I woke up that morning and she was even lower. And about 10:30, I started having contractions. They were very mild, very irregular, 15 minutes to an hour apart. So I just ignored them, didn't think too much of it. And you said you didn't really know anything was happening until later that day.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. She hides it pretty well.
I did know that they were real contractions, not Braxton Hicks, though. I had plenty of those to be able to tell the difference. One of my sister-in-laws asked me the difference, and I described it to her as a Braxton Hicks is kind of like taking a quick breath in and holding it, tensing everything up, and then just all of a sudden letting it go. Whereas a contraction is much more gradual. You can really feel it peak, and it's just kind of crampy wrapping around, and then it gradually disappears. So I feel like there's a very clear difference between the two.
That's a good description. I haven't heard it described that way before, but I like that. Like the taking a big deep breath in and kind of holding it for a sec, because it just kind of like comes on and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
how come I can't breathe as well,
Yeah.
for a little bit. And then it kind of goes away. But you're right. The contractions, the way that you feel them wrap around different parts of your body, and it has an ebb and a flow and a peak and a crest, that's a good description. I like that.
Yeah, I feel like they're much more gentle.
Mm-hmm.
So that just kind of continued for most of the day. Around 4:30, they started having a consistent pattern, but they still weren't anything that made me stop. It took another couple hours before the intensity started increasing, and it was around 6:30 that Gabriel started noticing them.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think that I like to ignore them as long as possible, like even before we left for the birth center. It took a lot of convincing. Gabriel didn't want to have a car baby.
No, I did not.
But I probably would have stayed home for hours still. I'm glad we didn't, because the birth center was amazing. But
we left around 9 o'clock that night. Luckily, my mom came to watch the child, and we headed up, and we got there around close to 11 o'clock, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, my contractions were about 5 minutes apart when we left, and they were lasting a good minute or more.
So
And
how far apart were they? How far apart were they when it started? And then I want to hear why Gabe knew at 6:30 that something was going on.
Well, at the beginning of the day, they were completely sporadic. Closer to supper time, they were about 15 minutes apart, and then when Gabriel knew that it was coming on, I would say they were still probably 10 minutes apart. But I was having to breathe through them a little bit. So, and then when we left, they were about 5 minutes and stopping me for sure.
Yeah, I would say I noticed around 6:30 because of how much focus it was taken from Kyla at that point. And, she would just be doing something and then kind of pause, and it's like, well, she doesn't usually just pause in the middle of something. So at that point, I'm like, well, I think something's going on. And you told me at that point then, because I asked you. And I'm definitely a more, I don't know what it's like. So I like to play it more cautious in that case. So yes, it did take some convincing throughout the rest of the day. But then around 9 o'clock, I'm like, okay, I think it's time to stay. Yeah, I'm not trained at all to deliver a baby in the vehicle, and I would prefer to do it in the birth center. So I would say that was a big reason why I was really like, okay, let's leave. Let's go at 9 o'clock. And at that point, our first child was sleeping, so I was like, okay, it's a good time to go. And so, yeah.
What were there things that you were doing to kind of help her during that time, or what did you find that your role was as the husband while she was laboring, like from 6:30 to 9?
At that point, I think I made sure everything was packed up and ready to go. Made sure the vehicle was all just ready.
He handled the logistics. I didn't really need too much of him yet, but
yeah, and then I helped with the first child or our oldest child, and called mom and did all that stuff to make sure everything was lined up behind the scenes. And really, that's about it at that point.
Okay, so let's hear the drive to the birth center. How far was the birth center for you? How was the ride? And then what happened at the birth center?
It's about 200 kilometers or about 2 hours of driving. Depends on how fast you're going. But it's a good little drive.
For sure it is. Yeah, if any moms listening also have a long drive, I would highly recommend bringing a hot water bottle for your back. That was very helpful. A comb. I enjoyed the comb. And just having something to lean forwards on. Because I know I do not like leaning backwards in labor. I do not think that is a very comfortable position. So leaning forward's the way to go. But my contractions spaced out a lot in the car. They were probably 20 minutes apart again, which was a blessing. I would not have loved to do 5-minute apart contractions for 2 hours in the car. My midwife said it's definitely not uncommon for them to space out in the car. So I was a little nervous that we were going up for nothing, but they did, each contraction did get more intense, even though they were so far apart. So I was hopeful that things were going to keep progressing. And then once we got to the birth center, I got checked. It was my only exam that I got in labor. Oh, I guess I should say when I was getting my cerclage removed, I was obviously getting checked at that point because I mean, they were all up in there. And by the end of that day, I was 3 centimeters dilated and I think about 50% effaced. So then when we got to the birth center, I was 6 centimeters, completely effaced, and baby was very, very low. So I was happy with that progress. I didn't expect to be that far along. That was a good surprise. But I also really appreciated not having any other cervical exams. I feel like it really took the pressure off. Like I wasn't having to meet any expectations. Just getting to let go and my body will do what it does.
But I will say before we get onto the birth center, the drive up, less on the birth side, I would say that, well, we listened to some music, not too much. And we just talked. I was making her laugh most of it, except for those times that you were focused and then I was holding your hand or something. And that was more of the drive for me on my side.
No, it was a lovely drive. It was just full of so much excited anticipation.
And a little bit of nervousness.
A little bit of nervousness, but mostly gratitude for just this birth experience that we were about to have and getting to meet our little girl. Okay. But once we got to the birth center, contractions started picking up pretty soon after we got there. Back to the 5 minutes apart that they were before. So my midwife suggested that I get things moving a little bit more and go sort of squat sideways on the stairs. That was just challenging. There was a love-hate relationship with those stairs. It definitely helped things along. But I didn't last for more than probably 45 minutes before I was just sort of laying down on the stairs during a contraction.
I'd say that's pretty common. You're not alone.
Yeah. At that point, Gabriel said, let's get off the stairs and just go somewhere more comfortable. So I tried to rest, take a nap, but that also did not last. Gabriel took a nap.
10 minutes.
I just sort of walked around and swayed, leaned over the bed and squatted, all those things. It was really neat just allowing your body to take over because it knows what it wants to do. And if you get out of the way, then it's just so much easier. It's a really cool experience having the opportunity to allow your body to lead that way. At this point, Gabriel still wasn't physically doing too much, so I think he thought that he wasn't really needed yet. He got up to go to the bathroom, and I started having a contraction, and I grabbed onto his arm, and I wouldn't let him go. I let him go after, but yeah, during the contraction, I needed him there. So for other dads out there, just know that early on, your presence is probably doing a lot more than you think it is, even if mom's not using you in any sort of physical way. Like they're a rock. They make us feel safe and calm. I can relax more when you're around.
a bit of a delay.
Is there?
I think so.
After that, I moved to the toilet. I sat backwards on the toilet with a pillow. It was nice for me. It was a good opportunity to rest. It wasn't as comfortable as walking around, but it was definitely good to just take a break. And Gabriel, bless his heart, sat on a stool behind me and held a hot water bottle to my back for probably a very long time.
So were you having back labor specifically, or it just felt more comfortable to have the warmth?
I wouldn't say I was having back labor at all. I tried really hard, especially later in my pregnancy, to have the really good body mechanics and encourage her to be in a good position, and she seemed to be. So no, I wouldn't say I had back labor. It was just maybe just something to focus on.
Yeah.
Is what I liked. Yeah. So after laboring there for probably a good hour, I couldn't stand it anymore. I had to move around again. And that's when the birth tub got filled up. Getting into the tub was lovely. I'm not a huge bath person, so I didn't expect it to enjoy it as much as I did. But yeah, that first contraction in the tub, it felt like such a break. I talked most of the way through it. Up until that point, I was really focusing just on my breathing and relaxing my body. The affirmations that I seemed to gravitate towards this time were surrender to the sensation. My body and baby are working together. And this is power and pressure, not pain. Looking back on my 2 birth experiences now and comparing them, I definitely used more, I would say, the bearing the discomfort sort of affirmations, like the you can do anything for a minute, which it was super helpful in that labor, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. This one was just it was just a very different experience. I didn't feel like I had to grin and bear it. I was more just calm and just felt free to labor at my own pace and just let my body do what it needed to do. So as challenging as labor is, I feel like I really recognized each contraction as a blessing and an opportunity to work with my body and my baby. So there was never a moment during active labor where I felt like I couldn't do it. It was just sort of just had to get out of the way is more what it felt like. Pushing, however, is another story. I labored in the tub for about half an hour before my contractions started changing to more that downwards pressure. And then all of a sudden, I would describe it sort of as the feeling of throwing up, like just that involuntary push. And so I pushed and my water broke. And after that, it was go time. There was no more chatting. There was no more just quiet low moans. My volume was increasing as the intensity was increasing. And yeah, that part's intense. I can't say
It's your favorite?
I can't say it's my favorite. I know a lot of women say they prefer pushing, but I don't agree. Lucky for me, that part doesn't last as long as the contractions. So yeah, as my noises got louder and louder, I would describe them as gorilla noises.
Oh.
Yeah. I wish I was somebody who just birthed their baby quietly and peacefully. Maybe the next one. But definitely not the case. I saw a post a little
You've
while
heard my
ago.
story about my husband and like the whole screaming goats thing. Do you remember
Yeah.
this at all? So like when you compared to gorilla, I was like in my head, I'm like, what does a gorilla sound like? Like, how are we different?
Yeah,
That's funny.
I saw a post a little while ago of a woman making very similar sounds to my own, and they called it the labor song, which I liked. It really romanticizes the guttural.
It really does. That's a much better.
Animalistic
That's prettier. I
noises.
should call it that. Yes.
It's more heavy metal style of music, though.
So my midwife did encourage me to use the power in my noises and focus it downwards instead of out, which did definitely help. It gave me a lot more oomph and made things go a little bit quicker. My another midwife was so encouraging the whole time I was pushing. She just kept telling me, like, to go slow, the baby is stretching things out, and I'm doing such a good job, and just all the sweet things. I don't think she stopped the whole time I was pushing. I remember reaching down probably about halfway through pushing, thinking that she's got to be close. And to my disappointment, she was definitely not close between contractions, but she had a lot of hair. And I remember saying, she has so much hair. I didn't talk very much during that stage, but I did say that. It really didn't take much longer, though, before she was staying down. And that part is very intense. I feel like that's when it sort of changes to an out-of-body experience. And in that moment, I started talking to her. I didn't really think about it, but I was telling her, I'm so excited to meet you. It's time to come now. Like, you're doing such a good job. I'm so proud of you. Which was really special. It's a really sweet memory in amongst all of the yelling. I feel like pushing feels sort of like a war in your body. Not in a scary way. It's so powerful. The way your body like pushes itself past the limits that you think you have. And on one hand, you want to hold back because it's uncomfortable. But then on the other hand, you just want to get it over with. And your body is pushing whether you like it or not. And it's such a unique experience.
Yeah, I always say there's nothing like birth. There's no way to recreate it, and you can never guess what it's like unless you experience it. Even where, I only had one unmedicated vaginally at the end, which was my home birth, and I had never. I couldn't have guessed even going through 2 births what that was actually going to feel like and be like. So, yeah, you're right. It's very unique.
Yeah, and yeah, so powerful. There was one contraction where the urge was extra strong and I gave it 100%, which I probably shouldn't have done because I did tear. That was the only high-pitched noise I made all of my labor, and Gabriel did a great job of reminding me to keep things low. He felt a little bit bad afterwards when I told him the reason that I squealed.
Yeah.
But don't be scared. It's not that bad. It's just a quick little stinging and then it's back to just the intensity. You don't feel it after that. So yeah, just a couple more pushes and she was here, and it's the most empowering feeling, pulling your baby up onto your chest. That is also a feeling like not there. Yeah, so just before 3 a.m, our little girl was born, and she was little, and she had so much hair. She was very sweet.
Cute. Were you able to do skin to skin, and did you choose to do delayed cord clamping or anything like that?
Yeah, I pulled her right up onto my chest. I was still in the tub at this point, and we delayed the cord clamping for a while. I honestly could not tell you how long. It was long enough. My placenta took a little while to come, and I was bleeding quite a lot. So once I delivered my placenta, Gabriel took Juliet for a little while.
Well, they snipped and yeah.
Yeah. And then they got me to the bed because I was bleeding so much. They wanted to assess the situation. So they stitched me up. I didn't tear too bad, but it was sideways, which was interesting. And
Well, you bled a liter.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I did hemorrhage, yeah. So I got a shot of Pitocin, and a shot of something else. I can't remember what it was, but it took a little while to get it all under control. It felt almost like a whole nother placenta came out when she did a frontal massage, which was crazy. And I did definitely feel a little bit weak afterwards, but after a little bit of juice and some more baby snuggles, all was well again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Gabe, just to take it back for a second, because I do want to get into the postpartum too, but I want to hear from your husband. Kind of walk us through the labor from the time you got to the birth center on. What was your role? What did you notice? What was it like to be you?
Well, when we first got there, well, it's just making sure I have everything inside the birth center and just all of our luggage is there. And then I was kind of just sticking close to her. For the first little bit, it was less hands-on from me, I would say. I was there making her laugh, and we were laughing for, I would say, a pretty good amount of time. Where I really saw the switch is when we went to the toilet. I was, in my opinion, my least favorite time. That hour on the toilet. I was just not a big fan of it. I don't know why exactly, but it wasn't too comfortable. That was one thing, but it wasn't like it was anything compared to what you were doing. And at that point, I found it that she wanted me to just help her. Like, I was making sure she was drinking her water, so every time she would empty it, I would fill it up, making sure that you didn't want a snack or anything like that. And then once we went to, I would say, the toilet, I would say for the next little while, my job was just to hold that heating bag on her back. I would say that was the biggest part of my job. And then after we moved back, and then got into the hot tub, the birth tub, it was just cold rags. She wanted cold rags on her forehead.
and I think you held my hand the whole time I was in there.
And I was talking to her, whispering in her ears and stuff like that, but
Make it sound like you didn't do much. You were huge.
Well, thank you, but I felt like I really didn't do too much. But yeah, just making sure you had your water when you were in the birth tub, and just you wanted to be cool. Your head wanted to be cool, but you didn't really do too much talking. So I was talking to her in her ears and stuff like that, just reminding her low noises at certain times, and just telling her that she can do it and stuff like that. I would say that's about all I can remember. It's funny going back to it. It's kind of just almost like a little fuzzy trying to remember everything. Especially for me, because I was just focusing on Kyla and what she needed or wanted at that time. So yeah, I would say that's kind of it for, I would say, my part of the laboring and pushing.
You said that this time around you really weren't nervous at all. There was no point where you were scared whatsoever.
No, I felt a lot more, just better,
confident in the
more
process.
confident, and just, I really don't like seeing my wife in labor at the end of the day. It doesn't look comfortable by any means. And so that's not my favorite part, but yeah, it just felt a lot better. Like comparing it to our other birth, it's just, I really didn't worry about anything. It was just, baby's gonna come when baby comes, and I just gotta make sure Kyla's happy to the best of my ability, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, Kyla, let's hear about the postpartum just a touch then. You said you got that immediate skin to skin. You did have a little bit of hemorrhaging, which they used the medication for. How was it after that? They get you all cleaned up and set up, and how was your postpartum?
Yeah, after after all that happened, I got my baby back, and her and I snuggled and nursed, and I ate for a good hour. Gabriel slept. Um, and then after that, I rinsed off, and she got checked out, and they sent us on our way. So that was wild. It wasn't even 3 hours after she was born, and we were already on our way to go be in our little newborn bubble in a hotel room.
So you
And
guys got a hotel. Was it just close to the birth center then? Just the three of you?
yes, because they
That's
wanted
awesome.
to keep us in the city for 24 hours so that my midwife could come visit us the next day. Then we wouldn't have to do a whole 2-hour trip home just to come back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was lovely. And we missed our daughter, but it was pretty special just getting to bond, the three of us, before coming home too.
Yeah. How did breastfeeding and everything go? Did they kind of take care of that before you left, make sure you had a good latch and everything? Or did you have any issues at all?
They checked in on us for sure, but I felt fairly confident, and she was pretty natural at it. I wouldn't say we really had any issues. It was all smooth. She was an easy baby.
It's
She
so
really
nice when
was.
they are.
Yeah. So even my postpartum was really smooth. I will definitely do what I can to avoid tearing next time. Healing without a tear is more comfortable than healing with a tear. But other than that, postpartum was smooth. Our transition was pretty smooth. Gabriel said it took him a couple weeks to get a handle on 2 kids. But no, everything postpartum was great. I wouldn't say that anything was too difficult. There was no crazy emotions, no crazy sleep deprived nights. Just the usual. I feel
Yeah,
like if you
right.
go into postpartum with the appropriate expectations and just embracing the season of less sleep, like that makes a difference too.
Well, and you're seasoned now. Like you've done this before. So that does help to
Exactly.
kind of have
Yeah,
a
for sure.
remembrance of what was ahead. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
100% that helps.
Okay, well, will you guys tell me a little bit about the birth course? Tell me what you loved about it, it helped you with or helped you overcome. How did it help you guys prepare together? Were there some things that you think would be helpful to share in regards to that?
I would say the part that was helpful for me was definitely the counter pressure lessons, stuff like that. I didn't know that was a thing, but I like how it showed and demonstrated it, because if it had no photos or anything like that, learning it would be a lot harder. Uh, and it did take me a little while to learn how to do them. But I would say that would be that's where I quite liked it, and just the parts of saying, "Hey, the father is important, and it can really help to have him there and have him doing things."
Yeah, I it's probably not the best answer, but I feel like just as a whole, education is so important. I feel like it takes away so much of the fear. And fear is
Mm,
not helpful in birth. So just understanding how everything works and understanding your options gives you so much freedom to relax when the time
yeah,
comes.
definitely. All right, you guys know I love to end these episodes with your best advice for moms and dads. So, Kyla, do you want to start us?
My best advice for moms is pretty much what I just said. I just to educate yourself so that you don't fear birth, because it's not something to fear. It's incredible and empowering and powerful, and it's challenging. So preparation is so important. It is worth all of the effort. But I think it's so important to be able to surrender when the time comes and be able to trust your team so that you don't have to be in your mind.
And then what would you say to dads?
yeah, for dads, I would say to remember that you are very important, that we really need you. Your presence and your active participation in both preparation and the actual birth are crucial. So please educate yourself. That makes a huge difference too, because a calm dad makes the room feel calm. So yeah, it will make a difference for both of you.
Yeah, thank you. How about you, Gabe? Best advice for
Uh,
moms and dads?
for dads, I would say this might not apply to every situation, but I thought keeping it lighthearted when the time calls for it. There's a time to get more serious, but uh, I found that making her laugh and be happy was uh, very important. I found that, well, at times that it helped pass the time, and just kept it.
It's a joyous occasion.
Exactly. It helps change up her thought and just, I don't know, just help, yeah, just keep things happy, I guess. uh, and then for moms, I would say get your husband educated. It's kind of the same as about what she said, but I have a lot of friends right now that are going through, you know, they're going to be giving birth here soon and stuff like that. And when I talk to them, they just don't know much. And I'm like, it's so important to know, like, because, like you said, it helps a lot.
Both of them.
Exactly. It helps both parties. First of all, it helps the dad feel more calm. Because once you know what's going on,
It's not that scary.
it's not that scary. So I would just say, make sure you get your husbands educated.
I love it. Well, thank you guys. Thank you both for being here and for your story and your wisdom. And yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
If you loved what you heard today, the very best way to support this podcast and help other moms to find it is to leave a quick review. I read one at the beginning of the episodes, and I would love for yours to be next. And if you're ready for even more pregnancy, birth, and postpartum goodness, come join me in the My Essential Birth course at myessentialbirth.com, where I will hold your hand and walk you through pregnancy and birth step by step so you're totally prepared for a birth you'll love. See you next week.